For those of you who are new to me, my name is Tamar Peninah. I have been facilitating women's circles for years. I'm a trauma-informed somatic practitioner. I'm an energy healer. I'm a mom of five. And if you want to know more about me, you can read my bio on my website, wemanifesthealth.com, or you can listen to a variety of the podcasts I've been interviewed on where I share my story. I don't want to take up time here talking about myself. But whether you've been following me for years or if you literally just found this space yesterday, I am so incredibly happy that you're here. And it is not an accident that our paths have crossed. I truly believe that every woman who finds herself inside this community is here for a reason. And I have seen over and over and over again how God always brings together exactly the right people at exactly the right time. He knows what each of us is carrying. He knows what we're praying for. He knows what we're ready to grow through and what kind of community our hearts need. So it's not a coincidence that you're here. I believe there is something here that God wanted to place in your path and my path, and so grateful that our journeys have crossed. So my intention for this space is that this becomes so much more than another membership you signed up for. My intention is for it to be a place that you return to month after month, that it's a place that you can remember yourself, where you can soften, where you can expand, where you can feel safe to become more of who you've always been and experience letting your truest essence take up space within you, where you can grow in a way that feels gentle and grounded and deeply alive and feel deeply supported and deeply seen. And joy, 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 joy. I firmly believe after my very long and continuous healing journey that it's all about orienting back to joy. And that's like the whole point, is to live, is to feel alive and to be happy and to live a meaningful life. So even when it's heavy, we're always able to orient back to joy, not bypassing our pain with joy, but that we learn how to access it. And part of the magic of all the different sessions in this membership is that it literally trains our body to be able to do that in a very real way. So I wanted to take a few minutes to explain what this community is really about, what we believe here, and the values that guide everything that we do. So the first value is sisterhood. Most women carry some form of wounding around other women, right? Maybe you've experienced jealousy or competition or comparison, gossip, being excluded, being judged, feeling like you had to shrink yourself to belong, or feeling like you can't trust women, right? All these experiences leave imprints in the nervous system. We all go through some combination of those. And because of that, so many of us unconsciously keep other women at a distance, even when what we deeply crave is genuine connection. So this community is where we get to practice something different, where we get to practice sisterhood and experience it and celebrate each other's wins without making them mean anything about ourselves. We get to encourage one another and witness each other and cheer each other on and just become safe women for one another, because healing does not happen alone. It happens in relationships and it happens in community, and it happens when our nervous system has new experiences of what connection can actually feel like. So utilize that chat. Let's get that going. Let's start this like community conversation support happening over there. Okay. And then the second value is honoring the wisdom of creation. Everything in nature moves in cycles. There's the tides, the moon, the seasons, the trees, the oceans. There's day and night, right? Everything God created moves in rhythm. Nothing in nature blooms every single day of the year. Nothing is productive every moment. Everything has seasons of expansion and seasons of rest and seasons of letting go and of becoming. And as women, we were created this way too. Our bodies are cyclical. Our hormones move in rhythm. Our emotional landscape shifts. Our nervous system has seasons. And for thousands of years, women have lived in relationship with these cycles. So It's not something to control us, it's something for us to understand. Nature becomes one of our greatest teachers because it constantly reminds us how God designed life to move. So everything inside this membership follows that rhythm of nature. We follow the rhythm of the Hebrew calendar. So if you're new here and if you've never studied Kabbalah or Jewish wisdom before, or you're not even Jewish, you might be wondering what that means. The simplest way to think about it is this. Just like traditional astrology recognizes that each season of the year carries its own energetic qualities, Jewish wisdom has understood this for thousands of years as well. And the Hebrew calendar recognizes that every month carries a unique spiritual invitation. Every month has a particular energy available to us, a specific area of growth, and a different aspect of our soul that we're being invited to cultivate. So in that sense, there are many similarities between what people know as astrology and what we study through the lens of Kabbalah. So both recognize that time is not random, both recognize that creation moves in cycles, and that different seasons invite different experiences and different kinds of growth. So where we differ is in how we relate to those energies. We don't believe that your chart defines your destiny, and we don't believe that you're meant to be limited by your zodiac sign or by the month you were born in. Instead, we believe that God created the universe with rhythms, with patterns and seasons, and those seasons simply reveal what is available to us. So they're invitations, they're not limitations. And there are opportunities to partner with what God is already cultivating in creation during that time. And that's why we choose to follow the Hebrew calendar, because it is an incredibly rich map of consciousness that has been preserved for thousands of years. And it offers profound insight into the spiritual themes available each month. And it gives us a practical way to align with the rhythms that God built into creation itself. So every month inside the membership, we will explore the energy of that Hebrew month together. Each month has a zodiac sign, a body part, an element, a dominant sense, a Hebrew letter, a tribe, a soul quality, specific emotional and spiritual themes, a pathway for transformation, and even a crystal that beautifully complements the energy of that month. So these become the framework for everything we explore together. And I also just want to say something really important. We don't approach astrology as something that controls us. We are not here to say, well, this is just who I am because of my chart, or this month is hard, so I guess I'm stuck. That is not how we see it. Every challenge simply reveals where more light is waiting to be brought. Every shadow is an invitation into greater consciousness, greater responsibility, greater freedom, right? The purpose is not to become identified with our patterns. It's to transform them. It's to embody our soul more fully, because we believe something very deeply here, which is that you are not a slave to your past. You are not a slave to your conditioning. You are not a slave to your nervous system. You are not a slave to your trauma, and you are not a slave to the stars. You have free will, you have choice, you have the capacity to heal, to grow, to transform, to become more fully yourself. And that does not it does not happen overnight, but it absolutely happens. And that belief is woven into everything we do inside this community. So if you're not Jewish, you are just as welcome here. You don't need any background in Kabbalah. You don't need to know Hebrew. You don't need any prior knowledge whatsoever. I teach everything from the ground up. So think of the Hebrew calendar simply as one of those beautiful maps for understanding ourselves and for understanding seasons of life and for partnering with what God is already doing within us. It's a lens that has transformed my own life and so many people. I've watched it change their lives in all of these years I've been teaching this, and I'm so excited to share it with you. So at the beginning of every Legani Embodiment Method session, I'm going to spend about 10 to 15 minutes teaching the energy of the Hebrew month we're currently in. And I will give you a little overview of the astrological and Kabbalistic themes, the invitations of the month, and the patterns we're working with so that you have context for everything we're about to embody together in the session. So then instead of simply learning those concepts intellectually, you will be experiencing them in your body through that embodiment practice. And if you find yourself wanting to go even deeper into the wisdom of each month, I wrote a book called the Kabbalah Moon Journal. So it's part book, part interactive journal. and part embodied practice guide. And so each month includes the spiritual themes of the month, the zodiac sign, the body part, the dominant sense, the Hebrew letter, the tribe, the element, the soul work, journaling prompts, intention setting practices, reflections, rituals, and somatic embodiment practices designed to help you integrate the month's energy into your everyday life. And the newest edition is especially close to my heart because I had the opportunity to collaborate with our very own Liat, who leads our monthly crystal embodiment sessions here inside the collective. So together we included the crystal of the month and teachings how each crystal beautifully supports the energetic work we're doing throughout the Hebrew calendar. And as a little extra gift for being a member in the Embodied Woman Collective, you'll also receive an exclusive members-only discount to Leia's online crystal shop called Or Haganu's Crystals. She has the best of everything. So if you'd like to work with the monthly crystal at home between sessions, you can, or just shop your heart out for any amazing crystals that she has. So you'll find the links to the journal and the member discount and everything else you need inside the membership portal. And one more thing is, before we get in, if you're a new member here, one of the first things I really encourage every new member to do is to take advantage of the somatic reset. So if you've heard me talk about nervous system work, but you're wondering what that actually looks like, that is the best place to begin. The somatic reset is 30 days of simple, gentle, 10-minute daily practices. And the beginning of each week, there's a short teaching so you understand what's happening in your body. And then every day you just simply practice, and that's it. And that's the beauty of it. Transformation doesn't happen through intensity, right? Usually it happens a lot through consistency. That's where we see the biggest changes happen, through these like small moments of choosing your body every single day. And many people don't even realize how much they're changing while they're doing it because it's so subtle, right? One day you just notice I'm responding differently, or I feel calmer, or I'm speaking up, or I'm laughing again, and I actually feel like myself. Right? So definitely check that out. Okay, so our monthly experiences inside the Embodied Woman Collective. So every month you're going to experience 3 different kinds of sessions. So the first is the Legani Embodiment Method. This is the heart of everything that I teach. These are deeply experiential journeys where we combine somatic nervous system work, embodiment, guided visualization, movement, breath, emotional processing, Kabbalah, subconscious repatterning, and ritual into one integrated experience. So it's not about learning, it's about experiencing in your body and becoming the woman you're here to be, actually practicing being that woman. Because insight does not change us, embodied experience does. So it's really powerful transformation that gets to happen through these sessions. And then our second monthly experience is our crystal energy session with Liat. Each month she teaches the crystal associated with that month's energy, and she'll guide you through a beautiful embodiment meditation to help you connect with the qualities that crystal represents. So whether you're brand new to crystals or you've loved them for years, these sessions are incredibly grounding and nurturing and supportive. And then finally, we're going to have a monthly breathwork session with Samara. I don't believe that every healing modality is for every person, but I do believe that breath belongs to every human being. Right? The very first breath we receive is the breath that brings life into the body. And Genesis tells us that God breathed the breath of life into Adam and he became a living soul. Breath has always been sacred. It's one of the most direct ways that we can influence our nervous system, our emotional state, and our connection to ourselves. And through the breath, we create more space in the body. We get to release stored tension. We regulate our nervous system. We increase oxygen throughout the body, which helps to just heal anything we have going on in there. And we get to move stagnant energy and reconnect with parts of ourselves that have gone quiet. So the breath has just this incredible capacity to shift our experience from the inside out. And while there are many styles of breathwork in the world, our sessions here are gentle and safe and grounding and integrative and powerful all at the same time. And they're designed to help you feel more at home in your body and not overwhelm it. One of the most beautiful things about everything we do here inside the Embodied Woman Collective is that you don't have to be the one holding it all, right? You don't have to plan it. You don't have to facilitate here. You don't have to figure out what you need to work on next. You don't have to carry yourself through it alone. All you have to do is show up exactly as you are and just receive. Receive our guidance, receive our love, our presence, our witnessing, and receive the wisdom of these ancient teachings and the support of the women sitting beside you. And receive the gift of slowing down enough to actually hear your own body. Let yourself be held. Let yourself be poured into. Let yourself remember what it feels like to stop striving, to stop performing, and to just simply be. Right? So many of us have spent our lives believing that we have to be the strong one, the capable one, the one taking care of everyone else. And my prayer and my intention for you is that this becomes the place where you remember that you too get to be cared for, that you get to be supported, you get to be nourished, and you get to receive. Because the truth is, there is a time for pouring out and there is a time for being filled up. So, my hope is that every time you enter the space, it feels like coming home to yourself and allowing yourself to just be filled up again. So, again, welcome. Thank you for saying yes to yourself. Thank you for saying yes to your body. Thank you for saying yes to your healing, your growth, your embodiment, and your becoming. And I truly believe that the woman who joins this community today will not be the same woman a year from now or a few months from now, right? You're not becoming somebody different, but you're going to remember more and more of who you have always been. And I am just so honored to walk alongside you. So, welcome to the Embodied Woman Collective. I am so happy you're here. The Legani Embodiment Method is the method I created to bring together somatic nervous system work, embodiment, feminine archetypal work, identity and subconscious repatterning, and the wisdom of Kabbalah into one complete embodied process. The word Legani in Hebrew means to my garden, and the garden represents your inner world, your body, your heart, your soul. It's the place within you where your truth, your wisdom, your emotions, your desires, and your relationship with God all live. So, the purpose of this method is to guide you out of your head and back into that inner garden so that you can actually experience the wisdom we're working with instead of only understanding it intellectually. And Legani is also an acronym for the 6 parts of the process of the session itself. So L is for land, E is for exhale, G is for gather, A is for activate, N is for name and nourish, and I is for integrate. And each state has its own purpose, and together they create a complete journey through the body. And we also move through the Sefirot as a Kabbalistic map of consciousness to the body. So according to Kabbalah, there are 10 Sefirot, and you can think of them as divine energies or channels through which God's energy moves from the spiritual into the physical world. And those same energies also exist within us. They shape how we receive, express, connect, create, discern, love, set boundaries, and bring our inner world into our actual lives. So, for those of you who are familiar with the chakra system, there are similarities in the sense that both give us an energetic map to the body. But the Sefirot offer an even deeper layered map. So in every section of the Legani method, we intentionally work with a particular sefira and allow that energy to become something you can physically experience. So in the first part in land, okay, we begin with land, and there we're going to be working with the sefira of Malchut, okay? Malchut is translated as kingdom or kingship, and it represents the place where the spiritual becomes physical. It's the root area of the body, and it's where an idea becomes lived. It's where the soul inhabits the body. It's where everything that exists energetically finally touches the earth. So during land, we orient to the room, we feel the support beneath us, we connect with the present moment, and allow ourselves to fully arrive inside our bodies. And we begin with Malchut because embodiment can only happen here in this body, in this moment. So we start with the root, and then we move into exhale, where we work with the energy center or the sphera of Yesod. So Yesod is our foundation. It's the womb space area, and it's the channel or bridge through which energy flows into embodied life. So it's connected to receptivity and connection and trust and flow. And we work with Yesod through the breath because the breath itself is a bridge and it connects the conscious to the unconscious, the body and the soul, the inner and outer worlds. And then we move into Gather, where we're going to work with Tiferet, which is the heart space. And Tiferet means harmony, and it also means beauty and truth, and it's all that beautiful heart energy. And it gathers together energies that may feel separate or scattered and brings them back into coherence. It's the balance of all the other sphero. And as women, our attention and life force often becomes spread across so many people, roles, responsibilities, conversations, worries, expectations. So during Gather, we somatically call our energy back into our bodies. And we gather the pieces of ourselves that have been living everywhere else. So we return the emotions, the expectations, and energy that does not belong to us. And we call ourselves home by our full names. And then Tiferet brings us back to our center so we can hear our own heart clearly again. And then we move into Activate. So this is where we work with the sphera that most strongly supports the medicine of that particular month. Very often, this includes Gevura, which is the left arm area, that whole like upper left side of the body, which is the energy of strength and courage, boundaries, focused power, and the ability to embody truth through action. And it may also include Chesed, which is the right side, the right upper side of the body. That's the energy of expansion, openness, expression, life force, loving kindness, depending on what we're activating that month. So this is the movement-based identity portion of the method. And we use posture, breath, rhythm, movement, imagery, and feminine archetypal embodiment to physically activate the energy we are cultivating. So you don't simply just imagine the archetype or think about her qualities. I'm going to be guiding you and allowing your body to experience how she stands, how she breathes, how she moves, how she listens, how she takes up space, how she relates to herself and the world. And this gives your nervous system and subconscious mind a new lived experience of who you can be, which is reprogramming ourselves at the cellular level. I love this work. It is so cool. Okay. And then we move into Name and Nourish. So we work primarily with the Sefirot of Bina and Chesed here. So Bina is understanding. It gives shape and language to what we've experienced. And this is where we name what is true, what we're feeling, what we heard from the body, what has become clear through the journey. And then Chesed brings loving kindness, because we don't want to uncover truth and then immediately use it to criticize, judge, or pressure ourselves. We meet what we discover within ourselves with love, and we offer the body the words and the care and the attention, reassurance, and nourishment that it's been asking for. So Bina helps us understand, and then Chesed helps us hold that understanding with compassion. And then the last stage is Integrate, where we return back to Malchut, back to our root, and we bring everything back down into the body and real life. And we allow the experience to fully settle in our nervous system and connect it to the woman we are becoming and the choices we'll make outside of this session. Because the purpose of embodiment is not to have a beautiful experience for an hour and then leave it behind. The purpose is for something to become lived, to enter your conversations, your relationships, your motherhood, your work, your boundaries, your self-trust, your everyday decisions. And at the end of every Legani journey, we complete the process with the declaration, Basi Legani, which means I have come to my garden. We began the journey moving toward the garden, and by the end, we are no longer searching for ourselves outside of ourselves. We have arrived, we have returned to the body, and we have entered the sacred inner space where our wisdom, our soul, and the presence of God have been waiting for us all along. And what's beautiful about that declaration of Basi Legani is that it is a quote directly from God himself in Shir HaShirim, which is the Song of Songs, which is a beautiful prayer that we say in Judaism.